right, you guys. I almost forgot about you. Oops. But I'm playing with Borbliss, so I've been burning my fingertips. Go me! Yeah. So, what I decided is that because I have read a couple comics now, well, as one of you told me, they're called trade books when it's multiple comics into one book. So, JD, I remembered your name, Mr. Will Wheaton lookalike, but I'm still gonna call you Will because I think it's cool. So, one of the comics that JD gave me, or a trade book, correct me if I'm wrong in any of this, you guys, I'm still a noob, so feel free. So, he gave me the first volume of the World's Finest of The Lost Daughters of Earth 2, so it's got Power Girl and Huntress, but it's really Supergirl and Robin. However, they come to Earth 2, is that right? No, they come to Earth 1, because we live in Earth 1. See, you guys, I'm still learning. But it's by writer Paul Levitz. I think that's correct, if I remember hearing his name properly. And then artists George Perez and Kevin McGuire. And essentially, what is happening in this first book is that Supergirl and Robin end up getting stuck in Earth 1, and they have to essentially blend in with society and not be as superhero-y as they're probably used to. But in that, they end up creating new identities. Supergirl becomes Power Girl, and Robin becomes Huntress, which is kind of fun. For me, I just love the costumes. So they had to blend in until they can figure out a way home back to Earth 2. But of course, there's going to be some kind of evil that they must fight, because that's, what kind of a comic is it without some kind of conflict, you know? So that's essentially what happens. Things that I liked, and keep in mind that this was the first comic I read, well, first series of comics I read in one book. So keep in mind it's still kind of brand new for me. But things that I liked, the artwork was just amazing. I'm not used to having so much detail in the artwork that I loved it. I also loved the fact that the entire thing's colored, which for me, I'm like, yes, coloring! I love coloring! So that was extremely exciting. The storyline was pretty decent. It kept my interest enough. It was just a lot more introduction to stuff going on and backstory. Costumes, for me as a cosplay person, I already want to make... There's an illustration in the back of the book that Power Girl has that I want to make now. So that's actually one of the reasons why I told JD and Sean to find me things that had boobs, because I was actually looking for costume ideas. Plus, I like boobs. You guys saw how much I loved Inevra on the cover of Daylight War. So, yes, costumes galore. Well, kind of galore, but enough ideas that I would get excited for it. I also enjoyed Helena. She plays Huntress, or she's Robin. I enjoyed her character more than Power Girl, Supergirl. I don't remember her first name. Some weird name because she's Superman's daughter. Yeah. And then when I was looking around online to try and see a little bit more about at least this series and what it's supposed to kind of lead up to, it's essentially the resurrection of the Earth 2 storyline. And so that's new to me. JD briefly explained Earth 1 and Earth 2 to me when he was giving it to me. Now, things I didn't really like, there's a lot of time switches between when they first get to Earth 1 and then 5 years later, and how they've adapted and have been trying to figure out how to get home. There's a lot of time switches, kind of got confusing, could have done with less of them, but oh well, I figured it out. Also, the humor was pretty decent. It could have been better. Very, very girly comebacks, in my opinion. I felt they could have been more pumped up. Then the premise itself, I like the premise itself. The storyline itself, meh. Like I said, it was decent enough to keep my interest, but didn't really get into very much that was like super exciting yet. So I'm probably going to keep up with the series itself just to see what else comes out of it. I'll do that. Then the character development wasn't all there. I felt like after 5 years of being adapted to this new place and having to be on their own, they still kind of acted like 15-year-olds or 16-year-olds. they kind of acted like teenagers still, and I was like, not much development there, not much growth within themselves in those 5 years that they've had to essentially fend for themselves, and I don't know how they managed. Well, okay, no, never mind. But overall, I would actually give this 3 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed it. It could have been better. I would say, especially for someone being new to this entire genre, definitely a good start. I will recommend that. If there's ever a female that you want to try and get introduced to it, it's a good start for her as well. Unless she's really, if she acts like a guy most of the time, then, you know, she'll enjoy it, but she could probably get started on something more. And yeah, that's what it was for me. If you guys need to give me any more feedback on lingo and terminology and stuff I can learn more, let me know down below. And yeah, a good number of you have given me some great comics to check out. Some of the Ocean of Bees guys, I guess they do comic reviews, and so I need to get a hold of them and find out what they recommend, obviously. And then, yeah, like I said, I'll probably keep up with the series, and definitely some good costume ideas. I love Helena, but her costume is kind of bleh. But then Power Girl, the costume that I really want to make of hers, it's got a boob window. That's really all it is. It's got a boob window, and I want to make it. So, I hope you guys have an awesome night. Remember to not feed the trolls. And I'm going to go and burn my fingers some more playing with the Warbler, because that stuff is awesome, and I'm making gauntlets! Yes! For my Ezio. Yeah. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great night. Bye.